In the small town of Springfield, Illinois, a young boy named Ethan Carter grew up with a passion for pool. His father, a local bar owner, had a pool table in the back of the establishment, and Ethan spent countless hours practicing his shots, dreaming of one day becoming a professional player. By the age of 15, Ethan was already beating seasoned players in local tournaments, and by 25, he had made a name for himself on the professional circuit. Ethan's rise to fame was meteoric. Known for his precision, calm demeanor, and strategic mind, he quickly became one of the top-ranked players in the United States. His signature move, a perfectly executed mass shot, earned him the nickname, the White Wizard. But despite his success, Ethan always felt there was one mountain he had yet to climb, defeating the legendary Efren Reyes, the Filipino pool maestro known as the Magician. Efren Reyes was a living legend in the world of pool. His unparalleled skill, creativity, and ability to read the table had earned him countless titles and the respect of players worldwide. For Ethan, Efren was more than just a competitor. He was the embodiment of everything Ethan aspired to be. The thought of facing Efren on the green felt was both thrilling and terrifying. The opportunity came sooner than Ethan expected. At the World Pool Masters in Las Vegas, Ethan found himself face-to-face with Efren Reyes in the semifinals. The match was highly anticipated, with fans and analysts alike eager to see how the young American prodigy would fare against the seasoned veteran. The atmosphere in the arena was electric. The crowd was divided, with some rooting for the young upstart and others cheering for the living legend. Ethan felt the weight of the moment as he stepped up to the table, his heart pounding in his chest. The match began, and Ethan quickly realized why Efren was considered the best. Efren's ability to control the cue ball was nothing short of magical. He seemed to see angles and possibilities that no one else could, and his shots were executed with a precision that left Ethan in awe. Despite his best efforts, Ethan found himself struggling to keep up. Efren's experience and mastery of the game were evident in every shot, and by the time the match reached its conclusion, Ethan was left defeated, with a score of 9-5 in Efren's favor. The loss was a bitter pill to swallow. Ethan had trained tirelessly for this moment, and to come up short was devastating. As he shook Efren's hand, he couldn't help but feel a burning desire for revenge. He vowed to himself that he would train harder, study the game more deeply, and one day defeat Efren Reyes. In the months that followed, Ethan threw himself into his training with a newfound intensity. He analyzed every aspect of his game, identifying weaknesses and working tirelessly to improve. He studied Efren's matches, trying to understand the secrets behind his success. He even traveled to the Philippines to immerse himself in the culture of pool that had produced such a legendary player. Ethan's dedication paid off. He began to dominate the professional circuit, winning tournament after tournament and solidifying his status as one of the best players in the world. But despite his success, the memory of his defeat to Efren lingered in his mind. He knew that until he faced Efren again and emerged victorious, he would never truly feel satisfied. The opportunity for a rematch came at the World Pool Championship in Manila. The tournament was held in Efren's home country, and the pressure was immense. But Ethan was determined. He had come too far to let this chance slip away. The day of the rematch arrived, and the arena was packed to capacity. The crowd was buzzing with anticipation, eager to see if Ethan could redeem himself against the legendary Efren Reyes. As Ethan stepped up to the table, he felt a mix of nerves and excitement. This was his moment. The match began, and Ethan started strong, taking an early lead with a series of flawless shots. But Efren, as always, was unflappable. He slowly began to chip away at Ethan's lead, his calm demeanor and strategic play proving to be a formidable challenge. As the match progressed, Ethan found himself struggling to maintain his focus. Efren's ability to control the pace of the game was unnerving, and Ethan began to feel the weight of the moment. Despite his best efforts, he found himself making uncharacteristic mistakes, and before he knew it, Efren had taken the lead. The final moments of the match were a blur. Ethan fought valiantly, but Efren's experience and skill proved to be too much. The match ended with a score of 11-8 in Efren's favor, and once again, Ethan was left defeated. The loss was devastating. Ethan had poured his heart and soul into preparing for this moment, and to come up short again was crushing. As he sat in the locker room, Replaying the match in his mind, he felt a sense of despair that he had never experienced before. But as the days passed, Ethan began to see things differently. He realized that his obsession with defeating Efren had blinded him to the true essence of the game. Pool wasn't just about winning. It was about the love of the sport, the camaraderie among players, and the joy of pushing oneself to be the best. Ethan also came to understand that Efren Reyes was more than just a competitor. He was a mentor, a source of inspiration, and a living testament to the beauty of the game. Instead of viewing his defeats as failures, Ethan began to see them as opportunities to learn and grow. With a new perspective, Ethan returned to the professional circuit with a renewed sense of purpose. He continued to train and compete, but now he did so with a deeper appreciation for the game and the people who played it. He no longer saw Efren as an obstacle to overcome, but as a guiding light on his journey. Ethan's newfound attitude was reflected in his play. He became more creative, more strategic, and more in tune with the nuances of the game. He began to win tournaments with a style and grace that reminded many of Efren himself. And while Ethan never got the chance to face Efren again in a major tournament, he knew that he had gained something far more valuable than a victory. He had gained a deeper understanding of himself, the game he loved, and the legend who had inspired him to be the best he could be. Years later, as Ethan stood at the podium accepting the World Pool Championship trophy, he couldn't help but think of Efren Reyes. The journey had been long and challenging, but it had also been incredibly rewarding. Ethan had become not just a great player, but a true ambassador for the sport. As he looked out at the crowd, Ethan knew that his legacy would be defined not by the titles he had won, but by the passion and dedication he had brought to the game. And in that moment, he felt a deep sense of gratitude for the man who had inspired him to reach for greatness. Efren Reyes may have been the magician, but Ethan Carter had become the white wizard, a player who had learned to weave his own magic on the green felt. And in doing so, he had found the redemption he had been searching for all along.